think I'm live. Yo, what's up, guys? Karen Brigetta, what's up? Still training on packing. Yeah, it takes a while to get the hang of. I'm just getting used to this, like a weird lag when I look at my other screen. All right. Cool, guys. So, yeah, we just wanted to take the opportunity to get on a live. We had a bunch of questions that have come in lately, just through emails, like other socials and stuff like that we kind of get over and over again. So I thought it'd be a good opportunity to just kind of jump on the channel, do like a bit of a FAQ / Q&A. If any of you guys are watching this and you have some questions about tattooing as well, or whether it's like social media or getting into the industry, more than happy to answer those as well. Yeah, I did make like a live stream like an hour ago. I was just testing it out and it went for like 40 seconds. So this is like the actual one, but we'll get straight into it. So I've got a list of questions here. Just give me 2 seconds to pull them up. Okay. By the way, guys, if you can just write in the comments if you can hear me or not, just so I know that my audio is not busted, that'd be amazing. Gomez, what's up, bro? All right. Okay, Trashy, you can hear me, great. All right, sweet. Morning, how's it going? North Country Horse Rescue. Yeah, not bad, man. It's actually it's nighttime for me. Like I'm in Asia, so it's like literally 9 p.m. Cole Kurtz, what's up? Man, I can't pronounce some of these names. Timothy just started yesterday. My fake skin is looking so horrible. Any advice for a baby like me from SA? Yeah, dude, get good quality fake skins. Anything that's like not on Amazon is going to be better than what's on Amazon. That's like one of the biggest things. I see a lot of new tattooers that they go for like the really cost-effective option, but they're just so much harder to tattoo. It's like tattooing a basketball, you know. Jeff, what's up, bro? Sandwich. Would you rather watch a tree grow or a knee grow? Fuck, you got me, man. Oh, all right. Whoever Sandwich is in the comments, screw you. I hate you. Okay, let's go straight into it. Okay. Oh, I can't believe I fell for that. All right. Okay, so getting straight into it. So literally that kind of goes off the person's, I forget who said it. Was it someone said they're having trouble with fake skins? But yeah, so the fake skins that I recommend using, we've gone through like a lot. And we've tried them all. Like we've made courses, we're constantly making content about like teaching people how to tattoo. So we're always experimenting with like different materials that we can use. Initially, I started off with pound of flesh, like arms. Like I've got, I've literally still got like one of their hands and stuff like right here. But they're cool, but they're very rough. I'd recommend pound of flesh ones. Like if you're already a professional tattoo artist and you're just looking to do a portfolio piece, you're not really as concerned about like the practice and getting better at tattooing as opposed to like trying a new technique and showing off your work. Plus they're quite expensive too. And then we went to real skins and they were great for like a really long time, but I think they changed the formula. That they're kind of like sweaty and sort of greasy now. So they're heaps different to what they were before. So right now at the moment we're using Skins, SKINZ. It's from a guy in the UK that makes them. Harry. It's actually a really good dude. But yeah, that's what we're using right now. And we're actually in the process of developing our own fake skins, which is super, super exciting. We've just tried so many different ones and, I guess you could call it the artist's ego, but I feel like we can get it closer to what it's like to actual human skin. So we're actually work on developing in that right now. Still a while away. It's going to be some time before we have like a prototype and start making those available to you guys. But right now, that's what we're using, and they work great. Or at least they're the best ones that we've found so far. We're trying to make one that's even better. Man, the chat's like going off. Okay, so just looking at the chat now. So Ethan Levi, thoughts on Pound of Flesh? Yeah, I kind of just went through that, man. I don't think it matters if they're on Amazon. Like a lot of the some tattoo supply. I know the fake skins. Like I know skins. I know Real Skin is on Amazon, and it's like it's real. It's not like knockoff like fakes or whatever. And I'm not sure if Pound of Flesh sell on Amazon. You might want to double check that with the company, but yeah, I just know Amazon has like a really bad rep for just having like the super cheap skins from China that are like tattooing basketballs. Cool. We got one from, man, these names are Deezing Dangs. Why when I tattoo myself on the first day it hurt, but the second it's not even possible to tattoo myself? I don't even know. I don't understand what he's saying by that question, Ro. New to pen coming from Stick and Poke. Jeff, going to a pen machine after stick and poke is going to change your life, dude. It's so much easier to tattoo with a machine than it is to do stick and poke. It's way faster too. The quality of the tattoos, you're going to be able to get it way better as well. But I got So Long 3mm from Amazon. Yeah, dude, 1mm stroke machine. That's like, I've never used anything lower than like a 3. So that'd be super difficult to tattoo with. Ethan Lever, I watch you guys' videos every day for like 8 hours a day, dude. Glad you're supporting the channel, man. What's up, Toy? Okay, cool. Let's keep moving. So the main differences between fake and real skin. So you hear a lot of artists, especially like the older heads that are not as open-minded to people learning online and stuff like that. They're like, the only way to learn is like an apprenticeship because fake skin, it's not the same as tattooing an actual person. And that's true, right? Fake skin is not the same as tattooing a person. I'm sure like a lot of you guys have either tattooed like yourself or, someone else. You know that it's different. Real skin, it bleeds, it stretches. It's like you're not tattooing on like a flat surface. It moves, it haggles over price, all those cool things. 100%, it is different tattooing an actual person is tattooing fake skin. But if you tattoo a couple hundred fake skins before you ever touch a person, your first tattoo on a person is going to be way better than someone that's never touched fake skins. Okay, you can get so many dumb mistakes out of your system on silicone sheets way before you ever touch a human being. And it's going to massively compress, the learning curve as well. Like in the beginning, your first few tattoos are not going to be the best. Like that's just the way that it is in learning any skill. But you can massively compress that, that figuring it out period by doing a bunch of tattoos on fake skin, figuring out how to hold the tattoo machine, the different techniques, pendulum shading, lining, how to actually control and use a mag. If you can figure that out on fake skin first, then your journey or your time on tattooing actual people is going to be just way, way easier. Cool. Man, I got fireworks going off outside. It sounds like there's gunshots. Anyway, keep rolling. First, this one is from Nicholas Schmidt. So first time tattooed on real skin was totally different experience. The thing with training fake skin is more about handling the machine. Yeah, 100%. Just learning how to actually like maneuver a mag like around an intricate design, that's massive. Okay, it feels so clunky and so awkward when you first try to shade or do color packing or whatever. Once you feel comfortable with that and you get the hand strength and you can maneuver that around lines and tight little spaces and stuff like that, it just gets so much easier to tattoo an actual person. One thing I would say is you want to get in the habit of stretching the skin, even though you don't have to with fake skin, because if you're tattooing and you just have your hand over the side chilling, like when you go to tattoo a person, like you're not going to have a good time. So if you're doing lines and stuff like that, always practice like stretching the line, doing your 3-point stretches and doing your lines. Or if you're going sideways, you can stretch the skin like this. You don't always have to like maneuver your hand like that. But just get in the habit of doing that. It's going to just make it so much easier when you start tattooing people, because you can do everything right. And I mean, everything. You can get the right angle. You can use the right voltage, the right depth, the best machine. If the skin isn't properly stretched, then it's not going to matter. Like the needle's just going to bounce off the skin. You're not going to get like good lines. That's why positioning is so important too. Like whenever you're tattooing someone, you want to position them in a way that the skin stretches itself. Like, if you're tattooing a tricep, getting someone to put their arm over their head like this when you're tattooing massively stretches out that tricep. It just makes the back of that arm so much easier to tattoo, like by a lot. It's so underrated getting the positioning right on a client, because it just makes a mad difference. Okay, so we've got a couple more in the chat. So Ethan Levi, sooner practice on myself. Yeah, dude, Ethan, so doing tattoos on yourself, it's kind of a rite of passage. I'd strongly recommend doing it on your thigh. Don't tattoo your arm, bro, because you need both hands to tattoo effectively. That's kind of how I learned. Like literally this tribal tattoo that I did on my thigh, that was my practice leg when I first started out. So it's served me well over the years. So we got, so Jeff, practice on 1 millimeter fake skins, interesting for depth control. Yeah, dude, you got to be careful though, because if you're using fake skins that are that thin and you bash your needles into the table, well, it's very easy to bash needles into the table underneath. It can really mess up your machine. The last thing you want to do is like spend, a couple $100 on either, like a Pig Solace or something, or like, a critical or whatever, and then it just gets busted. Ethan Levi, is Dynamic Ink a good ink from Amazon? Man, I know there's a lot of knockoffs. You just got to be really careful with buying stuff off of Amazon. A lot of tattoo supply companies don't do it just because of like, they just like morally, they just don't want to sell their stuff on Amazon. So then there's like a lot of, Chinese companies that like, or it's not always Chinese companies, but like it's other companies in other countries far away know this, and they kind of exploit this, and then they just make really convincing knockoffs. If you just Google like, ink knockoffs, like they're so close, you can only tell like there's like a slight difference in the bottle cap. But like the hygiene standards are just like completely go out the window because, it's not their brand. They don't care about it. So yeah, just double check. I would just double check if you're going to buy a Dynamic from Amazon, just check with Dynamic, like the actual company, email their support. It's like, oh, hey, you guys selling on Amazon? And then they'll either be like, no, that's fake, or like, yeah, that's legit. And they'll give you the right link so you can grab it. Okay, cool. All right, sweet. So let's keep going. So that we covered the difference between like fake skin and real skin. And the next question we get a lot is, how do you know when you're ready to tattoo actual people and make the transition from fake skin to like human skin? And this one's like, it's pretty obvious, like at least to me, but it is easier to tattoo fake skin, significantly easier to tattoo fake skin than it is to tattoo people. It's hard. Like when it comes to blending and fully saturating, it's a little bit more difficult on fake skin because the ink just doesn't kind of spread as much under the skin. When you're packing color on a person, it actually saturates a bit easier. When you tattoo your fake skins, you'll hold them up to the light, you'll see like all like this uneven like kind of patchiness that if you would have done like the same way, or if you would pack like in a similar way on an actual person, would actually fully saturate it. But yeah, the way that you know that you're ready, when you can do an awesome tattoo on fake skin, like when you can do a professional grade quality tattoo on fake skin, you can do perfectly saturated lines, everything's super clean, your shading super smooth. That's when I'd say you're ready to tattoo actual people. Because if you're struggling to do a crisp, clean as fuck tattoo on fake skin, then you're going to struggle even more tattooing on a person. And it takes some time, man. Like I'd say, depending on where you're starting from, like in terms of the art, like if you've never picked up a pencil before, you're going to have to do like a few hundred fake skins before you're going to be ready to the point where you're going to be able to confidently put a small tattoo on someone's leg. Okay. That's another thing. When you're starting out tattooing, just take the pressure off. Okay. The legs is the easiest part of the body to tattoo. You don't want to be starting off on like hands and throats and necks and stuff like that, or torsos. Leave that stuff till later. Okay. When you can do a nice tattoo on a leg, okay, then you go to an arm, and then you go to like the torso, and then that's when you can like, and once you get familiar with the torso, you can pretty much tattoo anywhere on the body. But you don't want to start out there. Like when the because especially the calf, like the skin is so tight on the calf, you barely even have to stretch it. You just kind of put your hand there and you can kind of just like tug the skin just like a tiny little bit, and that's good to go. Especially if they're lean, the person you're tattooing is really lean and muscular, then yeah, their skin's going to be like super tight anyway. So start with tattooing legs. When you can do an awesome tattoo on fake skin, then move on to tattooing actual people. Yeah, so again, another comment from Ethan. It's like, that's true. I tattooed a Goku on myself and realized that everything that I learned on fake skin does not work on real skin. I wouldn't say not necessarily everything. Going back to what a couple of people said before, like learning how to control the machine, that works really, really well. Just getting comfortable with, how a mag actually works, because it's got 2 rows of needles on top of each other. If you move side to side like this, you slice up the skin really quick, but when you turn it on an angle and then you go, up and down or like in oval formations, then it puts in a lot more ink. That all those principles still apply. But yeah, if you try and do some of the stuff that you do on fake skin, like you can't just keep putting in a light tone of ink again and again and again, and gradually gets darker. Whereas with fake skin, you can. Like I've got like I use the grey wash set from Dynamic, and when I tattoo fake skins, the 20% is almost as dark as black. So yeah, that definitely does not happen on an actual person. You can't just like go from black to 20% and get a smooth blend. I massively dilute my inks when I do any fake skin tattoos, and so does Brandon as well. When we do like courses and stuff like that or videos, we always like have it on screen, like what our dilutions are and stuff, and we use a completely different dilutions for tattooing actual people. So yeah, it's more for just getting comfortable with the machine and figuring out the hand movements that you need to take. And then again, start on the legs, guys. You cannot make it any easier for yourself by starting on the legs. I see beginners, sometimes they're doing like full backs, they're doing necks and stuff like that. You're setting yourself up for failure if you just approach those really, really hard spots from day one. And it rattles your confidence too. There's nothing worse than, doing a tattoo on someone and then, not having it turn out the way that, maybe one of you expected. And it's like, that's like on you, like that emotional guilt of putting a tattoo on someone that, potentially you weren't ready to do sticks with you, man. Like I definitely did a couple of tattoos when I was an apprentice, probably a little bit over my head. And to this day, man, I still remember what they are, So definitely baby steps. Start off with small, tiny tattoos on the legs and then just work your way up from there. It's the best way to go about it. Next question I get is, have I ever tattooed myself? I just showed you guys my leg. I think it's a good experience, but it's not like tattooing another person. When you're tattooing yourself, the logistics are difficult because it's hard to reach. You can't sort of focus on, doing the right technique so much because you're in pain. Like the deeper you go with the needle, the more it hurts. So you tend to want to back off a little bit, especially when you get the big mags out, and you want to, saturate like an area of skin. But I guess it's good to tattoo yourself because it takes the pressure off. Your first client is terrifying. I remember the first tattoo that I ever did on another person was I still remember the guy's name, Lockie McFarlane. If you watch our videos, bro, thanks for being my first client. But yeah, I tattooed a skull on the back of his calf, and dude, it took me like an hour to set up my machine. I used rotaries back then. I didn't have a pen. I had like an ergo machine, and just even putting the needle bar through the tube, like I was just like my hands were shaking. I was like so stressed out. Start off small. It just massively takes the pressure off. And also, tattooing yourself, it just helps you get rid of those nerves. It helps you kind of get used to the feeling. It's like, okay, this is how the needle interacts. I can see that I'm not hurting people. I can see when I, scoop the skin, it's like, oh, I know what that feels like, so I know not to do that to other people. It's good so you have like that little bit of empathy. It's kind of like, drinking your own Kool-Aid before you give it to other people. Got a bunch of questions in the chat. Okay, so we got, Jeff did a big kanji on my thigh. Nice, bro. Kanjis are really good first tattoos as well. Even on if you're doing it on other people, because they're very forgiving. you can tattoo a kanji with a round shader, because you know how you get like the painted effect on the kanjis. If you just do it with a round shader, like it's really hard to mess up. You can literally brush it and you don't even have to outline it. We've got one from Toy Rocket. So when you do a long line, how can you go back into an interrupted line and make it look clean instead of jagged? Yeah, great question. So Toy, when you're doing a line and you stop, okay, because you've got to pull up, you're feeling uncomfortable or whatever, or you can't see sort of behind your hand. The most important thing is that you taper out so that the line has a sharp edge on it. It's a lot easier to make a line clean and join to another line when it's tapered. If it's not tapered, if you're just moving the machine along and then just lift it up like that, you've got a fat edge. It's much, much more difficult to make it look like it was done in a single pass. So when you always train yourself, and this is something that you can learn on fake skins, whenever you pull the machine out, don't just yank it up, just taper it out so it gets a nice sharp point. And then you have a little bit of leeway when it comes to connecting that line to it. All you got to do is just start the needle back on the part of the line you've already tattooed. So let's just say you're tattooing along here, you pull the needle up there. You don't start here. You start all the way back here on the part that you've already tattooed, and you taper in. You slowly come in, and then you go as if you were tattooing that same line. That's how you get it nice and clean. So we've got Jeff. I've been doing basic piercings for years and still won't do tongues. Work with 1 year. Oh, dude. Yeah, man, tongues are gnarly. I used to work with a guy that had his tongue split. And from what I heard, like it's like this body mod, what they do when they split your tongue, they put a garbage bag over your shirt. They just cut like a little hole for your head, put a garbage bag over you, just for like all the blood. And yeah, it's gnarly. But yeah, doing tongues, man, is unbelievable. Okay. Oh, Toy, dude, you sent us $10. Oh, dude, thanks. I didn't even know you could do that with YouTube. Thanks, man. Okay, yeah, Gomez, scooping is brutal. Yeah, bro, you don't want to shuffle people. That's another thing with whip shading, right? I see a lot of beginners when they're whip shading, instead of like just gliding the needles across the skin, they kind of like scoop it. Be gentle, man. Just like literally just glide the needles in and then, drag them across and then glide them out. You don't want to just like shovel and dig into the skin. Ethan Levi, I don't quite understand tapping inward. Do you mean tapering? I can't tell if that's like a spelling error. Yeah, Jeff Pillan said it was great for kanji. Round allowed edges to look slightly brushed. Yeah, sweet. Using round shaders for kanjis is the bee's knees, bro. Tattooed myself. So Pranjali, man, I can't pronounce some of these names. If I butcher this, I'm so sorry. Pranjali, I tattooed myself for the first time today. Well done, man. Welcome to tattooing, bro. It's like the initiation ceremony. Okay, Nicola Schmitz. Is tattooing with colors really different from tattooing black and gray? How do I know what I'm ready to? Oh, bro, Nicholas. Yeah, dude, tattooing with color is so different to black and gray. Like black and gray is magnitudes easier than doing color. Okay, when you're doing black and gray, you're just blending, like you're going from black and then you're diluting that ink and then going to skin tone. Okay, so you don't have to fully saturate the skin. It's a lot faster to do, and it's a lot easier and more forgiving to work with. But when you're doing color, especially if you're doing color realism, you've got to fully saturate everything. You've got to take the skin into the absolute limit. And if your technique's not on point, then it's very easy to overwork the skin. But on top of that, if you don't have a good knowledge of color theory and you choose a bunch of whack colors, it doesn't matter even if you tattoo it perfectly, it's going to look muddy and it's just not going to go well. When you're venturing into color, what I would recommend is start off with black and gray, because that's easier. Like it's so much easier to do black and gray. And then when you can do a solid black and gray tattoo, experiment with like just some simple traditional style color tattoos where you just go on either solid colors or you're just whipping it out and blending it to skin tone. And then neo trad's the next level up from that. And then color realism is like the next level up from that. Okay. So yeah, it's definitely on another level doing color from black and gray. Karen Brigitta, I don't know what that currency is, but there's 20 of them. Thanks, man. Prangelli. So my first tattoo on myself, and it was on the top of my thigh. I feel the placement was quite uncomfortable on that. Experience with A1. Yeah, dude. Thighs it hurts, dude, tattooing yourself. I tattoo the top of my thigh, and the closer you get to the groin area, man, the worse it gets. Ethan Levi, you guys are amazing teachers giving actual details. Appreciate you, bro. Appreciate you watching the channel. So Mark Young, join the Artist Accelerator. Just waiting to be accepted. Yeah, Mark. So Mark, if you just join the Artist Accelerator, our support team takes Saturday and Sunday off. So Monday, you should be led into the Facebook group then. Yeah, we do like giveaways and stuff. We're going to start like promoting that more. Like we do so many giveaways inside the group. We did a giveaway. We gave away 6 Critical Talk tattoo machines. I think not last month, but the one before. We gave away an iPad last month. I don't even know what we're giving away this month. We haven't figured it out yet, but we do so many. We had this thing as well. We do like Pimp My Studio. We literally just stole that shit from Pimp My Ride. But yeah, we literally go around to our students like shops and we help them like fit it out. We give them like a budget to deck it out with like an equipment, like a new workstation, put flash on the walls and stuff like that. It's really, really cool. Yeah, Trasky, it's the program's amazing. I won the Prime machine. Yeah, we've given away a bunch of machines in that group. But anyway, I'm getting off track, guys. I'm getting lost in the chat. Back to the FAQs. So needle questions. Okay, so when it comes to tattooing needles, when you're just starting out, what are like the basic staple sizes that we'd recommend that everyone have? Okay, so there's a lot of different needles that you can get, and you don't have to start off with as many. Like as you see kind of behind you here, you can actually start off with a lot less. I'd recommend just starting out with standards. Okay, even if you're doing black and gray, I'll just start out with standards. Keep it super, super simple. If you're going to be doing small tattoos, like stuff that's like this big, it's not going to make much of a difference having like a 10 gauge and there's a 12 gauge. When you're doing like black and gray realism, big sleeves and stuff like that, yeah, okay, 10 gauge needle is going to make a difference then. But even on fake skin, it's funny. 10 gauge needles will saturate a lot easier on fake skin than they will on actual people. They actually massively slow you down, which is fine. It gives you a lot more time to do multiple passes over an area and build up your tones and stuff like that. But you've got to be patient. If you're an impatient person, then you'll get really frustrated because it's like, fuck, the ink's not going in. But it is, but it just takes way, way longer. But the staple needles that I would recommend, what I always start out with is I like to have multiple liners. Okay, so if you're doing like small script and symbols and stuff like that, which is mostly what you're going to be doing when you first start out, 12 gauge 3 liners or 12 gauge 5 liners. 3 liners, you're going to be able to get more finer detail type stuff, but they're harder to use than say a 5 liner. 5 liner is almost as thin as a 3, but it's a little bit easier to use because it's got 2 more sharps in the grouping and it doesn't blow out as easy. So yeah, you want like a nice thin liner, and then you want like a medium sized liner, which is a 9, is perfect for that. It's like the perfect beginner needle. It's small enough that it doesn't have a whole lot of surface tension to penetrate the skin, but it's big enough so that it kind of feels like it grips the skin when you're doing a liner. It's a lot easier to get it nice and clean than say like a 3 liner would be. So having like a 3, a 9, and that you can pretty much get by with that in the beginning. You're not going to be doing massive tattoos that are going to require a 14 round liner until you start doing like bigger pieces, like the size of the palm of your hand. Or something like that. When you're doing real small bangers like that, you don't really need much bigger liners than a 9. And even if you do come across a piece that requires you to do thicker lines, you can just use your 9 to double line it. You just have to be a little bit careful though, because if you go over the part that you've already lined, you can overwork it pretty easy. You don't want to go over lines that you've already lined and are fully saturated, because it's very easy to overwork the skin. But yeah, those two liner needles, 3 or a 5. They're both good, and a 9. And then for mags, I recommend having a 9 curved mag 12 gauge and a 15 curved mag 12 gauge. Okay, a 9 it's small enough that you can fit into like some really intricate types of tattoos. And then when you go up to like a 15 mag, it's big enough, or it's enough of a difference where you can get smoother gradients with it. And then for good measure, throw in like a 5 round shader for your highlights and like packing and like really small details, and that you're good to go. That's not where you want to stick at forever, but that'll get you started. a 3 or a 5 round liner, a 9 round liner, all 12 gauge, 9 curve mag, 15 curve mag, 5 round shader, and that'll you can do a lot of tattoos with that. Next question. So should I always get long tapers? Around Magnum cartridges better with long or medium tapers? I like long taper for lining needles. Like when I'm from my liners, I always use long tapers. I find that they're just a lot more precise. And with the needle being nice and sharp, it just penetrates the skin a bit easier, and I'm able to get like a nice clean line. But when I'm using my mags, I just get standard taper for whether I'm using bug pins or whether I'm using standards. I just have standard taper. But yeah, I do like a longer taper liner. Oh, we got a few in the chat. Cheers to Jeff, who just listed out all the needles. Mark Young just joined. Oh, we already went over that one. Okay, so Ethan Levi, I have it too easy to become a tattoo artist. Both my brothers have their own shop and ready to take me up as an apprentice. I must learn as much as I can before spring. Oh, dude, bro, Ethan, if you got connections in tattooing, like if you got like a couple of brothers that own shops, yeah, dude, your journey into tattooing is going to be significantly streamlined, bro. Take it, man. If you've got the contact or you've got like that advantage, just like run with it, bro. Sometimes I feel like there's a stigma of like, people that like, if you have like an advantage or if you have like a connection that gets you into a studio, it's just like the merit isn't there, or like you haven't earned or whatever. It's just like, fuck it, man. If they had that same opportunity, they'd take it too. So run with it, dude. Okay, the mixed box is what I started with. It really comes to everything you need. Yeah, dude, you can get mixed. So Brandman CS made a great point. There's a bunch of companies. I think Mast is one of them. I know Mast is one of them, and a couple of others that will do like a mixed box of needles. They'll have like a 50 pack or whatever, and then it'll come with a bunch of different groupings. That's like the most cost-effective way to just get like a bunch of needles to start with. Jeff Pillon said long taper is what is referred to as bug ping. Nah, man. So the taper and the gauge of the needle is different. So the gauge is the thickness of the needle. So 12 gauges are nice and thick, 10 gauges are thinner, right? And the taper is the distance from the point of the needle to where it finishes, or like where it goes like non-tapered. I'm trying to explain the word taper without using the word taper, but it's the sharpness of the needle. The more sharp the needle is, the longer the taper. The more blunt the needle is, the shorter the taper. Cool. Ben says EZ is good and Mast those. Yeah, EZ does make good needles. EZ does make good needles. 100% can confirm that. Keep it on the DL too. There's a few companies out there that that get their needles made through other companies. Look, all I'll say is that a lot of the needles come from the same place. That's all I'm going to say about that. But yeah, anyway, back to the questions. So if you're doing realism and you don't finish in one session, how do you reapply the stencil, be able to pick up the day we left off? Great question. So realism tattoos, how do you finish the tattoo if the client taps out or whatever, you run out of time? So what you want to do is every time that you print that, because assuming that you've got an iPad, right? If you're doing realism, you should have an iPad. It's just going to make it so much easier. Don't do it with Photoshop. That's old school. That's what I did when I was coming up, and it's just painful. Have an iPad, and then every time that you print it out, don't adjust the size on the printer. Adjust the size in your iPad. Okay, and then when you finally print out the right size, to stencil, save that size. You finally get the stencil on the last version of that image, or like the last layer of that image that was the correct size. Name that layer saying correct size. So then that way, when that client comes back in, you see what the tattoo is, you go into your iPad, you scroll down to the tattoo they did, you find the layer that was the correct size, you print it out. That's the exact same as what it was the first time when you printed it out. You just got to be organized. That's all it is. So multi-session tattoos, right? How soon should the second session be after the first? To prevent interfering with the healing process, have seen other artists do the second session the next day. Is that bad? Is it acceptable? So I actually got back-to-back days done on my forearm. I went to New Zealand. I got tattooed by a mate that I used to work with over in Invercargill in New Zealand. And yeah, he did me back to back, and he actually said it's like I don't like doing that. I only did it because you traveled, and even on the second day, like my arm was swollen up pretty bad, and the second day was like it was not fun. Also, as well, like this, it gets pretty difficult too because like you can see how like this skull was we did on day one, and then the knife that I've got on my inner arm was day two. So you can see how that's got all of these yellow bits of sun that were tattooed on day one, and then we're doing like dark reds and we're doing grays and stuff on the night. So it's very easy to, you just got to be super careful you don't stain the colors because it's still like the wound is still open. You can tattoo people back to back, but you have to make sure that they keep the tattoo wrapped because if it starts to dry out and it starts to scab, no bueno. You're not going to be able to tattoo that the next day. Okay, so you just have to be like really clear with the clients, like, hey man, don't take this wrap off. Or if you do take it off, just take it to rinse it in the shower and then put the wrap back on to stop it from drying out and developing a scab, because once it starts to scab up, you can't work on it. But I don't like doing back-to-back days. I'd much rather wait for the client to fully heal. And everyone's different. Like depending on how healthy the individual is, like a young 21-year-old that's in the prime of their life, doesn't smoke, drink, or like to party, is going to heal within like a week, assuming that it's done well. But if you got someone that's like, knocking on death's door, they're like one cigarette away from, death, then yeah, they're going to take like a couple, even up to a month to fully heal. Like if their health is really, really bad and their immune system is super compromised. So generally the younger they are, the faster they heal. Sorry guys, I'm like sick. I'm getting like the mad sniffles, and yeah, I only get sick like once a year, but I am definitely crook. Okay, we've got some more on the chat. So Bandman, surprising I never tattooed roses. Dude, you should absolutely be tattooing roses. They're the easiest like tattoo to do. And they're really good for practicing, especially when you're branching out into realism. Start with skulls and roses. They're like by far the easiest types of tattoos to do and the most fun as well. Cool. Let's get back into it. So tattoo design. What do you guys recommend new artists do when they feel stuck or they don't feel like they're making progress on drawing, designing skills, regression in skills? Ooh, that's a big one. So if you're, do any of you like I'm curious guys, put this in the chat. Do any of you guys struggle with like artist block when you're drawing? Do you find it like really difficult to come up with like concepts of what to draw? And do you find that you just waste a bunch of time like going through Pinterest trying to find stuff to like draw or tattoo or whatever? Let me know in the chat if that's something that you guys are dealing with. But what I recommend, I don't believe if you're consistently drawing, your skills aren't going to regress. What you'll find is that when you're building a skill set, it's not like a straight line from beginner to like expert. There's going to be like like peaks and troughs, but it'll always trend up and to the right if you stay consistent. Unless you stick within your comfort zone and then you don't try anything else. Like you figure out how to do like really cool, mandalas or blackwork stuff, but then you just stay in that little box and you never experiment. But in terms of when you're feeling artist block, that just means you're not inspired, bro. I would look at other artists' work, okay, and I draw inspiration from other artists' work. And that's the easiest way to get re-inspired again. On top of that, when you plan out what you're going to draw in advance, this is something that we tell a lot of our students inside of Tattooing 101. Dude, get a Google Sheet, okay? Plan out your week. It's like, all right, this is the style that I want to learn. I strongly recommend starting off with trad because it's the easiest and it's the fastest route to being able to, make an income from tattooing. Decide on a style that you're going to learn. Don't hop around. Okay, if you're constantly hopping from like trad to realism to neo trad, it'll take so long for you to figure out any one of them. Like you'll burn yourself out. It's kind of like, imagine if you got like if you're learning 5 degrees at once, you're doing like psychology, and then you're doing business over here, and then you're doing like, medical science. And instead of just spending 4 years on one, you did like a couple of months in one degree, and then you moved over to another degree for a couple of months. You'd never graduate. You'd be a college dropout, man. Like me. And yeah, so stick with one style, and then plan out what you're going to draw a week in advance. On Sunday, it's like on Monday, I'm going to draw 5 panthers. Tuesday, I'm going to draw, 5 lady faces. Wednesday, I'm going to draw 5 roses. And when you do that and you get your references in advance, when it comes to that day, you just literally sit down at your desk and you bust out a bunch of drawings. You'll be way more productive. You'll get a lot more done, and you'll learn a lot quicker because you'll be consistent. Planning is the key to consistency. If you're just doing stuff off the cuff, it's very easy to procrastinate and just like not do it. Going back to the chat. So Bandman, so I got a tattoo of my uncle on the ribs. He's a big guy. Any tips on tattooing a big skull with roses and vines wrapped around its neck? Okay. So Bandman, if you're going to be tattooing the ribs, literally, I can actually show you this right now. So check this out. So that's like the massage bed over there. When you're tattooing them, get them like this, right? So you have them lying down, and then put their arm over their head like this, and then like their leg in the opposite direction, and their arm like in the opposite. Like you want to spread them out diagonally over the massage table, and then you want to put like a pillow underneath their ribs, so that that way it kind of flattens them out. Because when you tattoo someone's ribs, it feels like the ribs like sink inward. Whereas when you put like a pillow underneath, it flattens them out, and you've got a nice canvas to work with. It's much, much easier to tattoo. And definitely, if you're going to be tattooing ribs, clear your schedule for the rest of the day. As soon as you put that stencil on and he lies down and he stretches out, that tattoo is going to double in size. So it's going to be a much bigger tattoo than you think it is. Gomez, Pinterest ruins my creativity. Yeah, if you rely on it too much, and you're constantly looking at other people's work and not creating your own, I can see how that would happen. But it's really, really good to get references and get inspired, especially when you're drawing something you're not super familiar with, seeing other ways that people have drawn it. At least, what I found early on in my career was super, super helpful. Jeff Pillen, I've never been able to draw well, but love the art of tattooing. Jeff, if you're having trouble with drawing, man, we literally just brought out this thing called Artist Hour. It's like we do it over email. We give you like 90 days worth of drawing projects. You sign up for it, and then every day we send out an email saying, hey, we're going to show you like a new feature in Procreate, or how do you do like this cool, technique inside of Procreate. Or like a drawing framework that you can use for doing roses. We've had like our first batch of students go through that. They're like the feedback's been super positive. So if you're struggling with drawing, definitely check out Artist Hour on the site. It's a really, really dope program. Bandman, this is where I'm stuck. I don't know what style I like. Bandman, if you don't know what style you like, I'll just start with trad. I'm a firm believer that if you become good at something, it's very easy to be passionate about it, right? A lot of people get that flipped the wrong way. They think it's like, oh, I've got to find my passion. They spend their whole lives looking for whatever the fuck they want to do. I'm a firm believer that if you dedicate time to something and you put effort and hours and work and grind into it, and you develop like a skill set, then the passion comes afterwards. Okay, you can actually choose what you want to be passionate about, by investing your time into it. At least that's my perspective anyway, man. Like not everyone shares that, but that's my thought process. Jeff Pillen, look where you are now. Trad is great, but there's lots of different routes to take within the style. Yeah, man. If you look, there's a guy, like traditional tattoos, like typically don't have like finer lines in them. Like it's just all done with like a 14 or like a bold liner. But there's a guy, Samuel Briganti. His stuff is amazing. And he does like he'll use like 5s and 3s and stuff in his traditional style tattoos, and it looks amazing. Okay, yeah, that's go and give it a good stretch. I know it's going to be an 8. Oh, Bandman, it's probably going to be longer than 8 hours, dude. Ribs take a while. Especially like hopefully he sits well. If he struggles like with the pain and stuff like that, he's got to take lots and lots of breaks. That can massively push out the timeline as well. Okay. Nur Aish, also hello to you too. Justin Lesperance, what do you mean? Which one is that for, Justin? Can you? There's like a delay on the channel, so like I'm seeing this like 5 minutes after you said that. Yeah, Justin Lesperance just said it. I see the artist hour posted up a lot in the mastermind. Yeah, man. Nourish, how to be a good tattoo artist. Practice, bro, just like anything else. Lots and lots of practice. Start on fake skins. Do that every single day. Start tattooing small tattoos on your friends and family, and then just pick up from there, man. Jeff Pillon, is that a free access thing on the site? Not a member yet. No, the artist hour thing is like $27. But yeah, it goes for 90 days, man. We've had a lot of good feedback about it. Ethan Levi was a very artistic kid, straight A in art class, but drugs got me for 7 years. Been sober for the last 5 years now. I love my art. Yeah, dude, that's wild. I feel like we've there's a lot of people in the tattooing 101 community that like embrace sobriety. I think since me and Brandon kind of came out like about our like journey with like drugs and alcohol, I was a big drinker back in my 20s. Loved ecstasy too. I was those were the days. But yeah, I think I got to a point where I was like 25, and yeah, I kind of just looked at where my life was going. I was just like, oh fuck, the future doesn't look super bright. I'd probably better get my shit together. So yeah, and that like when I was 25, I stopped drinking, and yeah, like initially it was hard. I don't know for anyone that's like given up drinking, it's like it's hard in the beginning, but then I don't know, after a while, I was just like, man, I'm so stoked that I did it. But yeah, definitely lost a few years on the party scene for sure. Justin Lawrence, I didn't know which one you were talking about. And then he said it as I said the question. All good. Bandman. Yeah, if your back's hurting after the first 2 hours, I used to get a lot of back pain when I was tattooing. Like when I was tattooing 6 days a week, and on Fridays I used to do, because our shop was open from like 9 a.m. till I think it was 10 p.m. on a Friday, because that's when all the tradies had come in after work and had given like the longest amount of possible time for the tattoo to heal before they had to go back to work. And yeah, I started to get back pain like after a couple of years, and then the thing that just absolutely fixed it for me was just going to the gym. When I started lifting weights and getting into fitness and stuff, it fixed a lot of the damage that tattooing did to my body. We've got a question from Nardo. Does numbing cream affect the healing or the tattooing process? Yeah, 100%. A lot of numbing creams, or at least the older ones, like I haven't used like a lot of the newer ones coming out, but at least the ones that I've used in the past, like Dr. Numb was one of them. That one's been around forever. It changes the texture of the skin and just makes it a bit more difficult to tattoo. And it can also make the tattoo not heal as well either. If you're doing like a little tattoo, like it's just going to be like a fine line piece or something like that, and someone's just a bit nervous about the pain, it's probably okay for that. But I wouldn't want to do it on like a massive piece that has a lot of color saturation, just because it's not going to heal as good. It's going to need a touch up. And then naturally, they're going to want to use the numbing cream for the touch up as well, because you let them use it for the initial tattoo. And then, yeah, so I don't like it. Ethan Levi, hell dude. Jeff Pillon, everyone's sober now. Yeah. How can I find a studio to start tattooing? I've been bringing some of my friends to my house, but I don't think it's safe. Any tips? Yeah, Nicholas, best way to get into a studio is to look when you've got a solid portfolio, when you've got a well-defined style, you've got a solid portfolio of art and some fake skin tattoos. It depends what you want to go for. Like if you want to go for an accelerated apprenticeship, because what we find a lot of our students do, if they're in a state that requires a tattooing license, then they'll do like the artist accelerator, and then they learn all the fundamentals that come with tattooing, and then when they get into an apprenticeship, they don't have to mop floors for a bunch of years because they already understand, they already have the knowledge. They just need to get in the reps. So at that point, that anywhere from 1 to 2 year period of just being treated like absolute dog shit and working for free is massively compressed because they have all the knowledge already. They just need like a safe, sanitary place to practice. That's also legal to tattoo in. But yeah, so if you're going to get a job as like an apprentice, having a solid portfolio of art, a solid portfolio of fake skin tattoos, and also a presence on social media. That's a big one. Okay. If you have a solid presence on social media, that will open a lot of doors for you because it's not the best artists that make the most money. It's the most well-known artists. It's kind of an unfortunate, sucky reality. It just is the way that it is. Yeah. So if you have a social media following and you've got clients ready to go, okay, and you can already tattoo like well on fake skin, you can already draw well, then the studio realizes like, oh man, I'm not going to have to teach this person much. Like this isn't going to be that difficult. Okay, or this is going to be easy. They're going to come in within a couple of months. They're going to be tattooing, and I'm going to have another artist working in my shop. And my income's going to go up by, depending if it's like booth rent or percentage. If it's percentage, they're going to make like an extra, 20, 30, 40 grand a year. If it's booth rent, then it's going to be a lot less. But yeah, it makes it a lot easier to say yes when you've got all your ducks in a row. You've got your BBP certifications. You've got your your portfolio sorted. You're doing well on social media. And social media is not as difficult as you think it is, guys. Literally all you've got to do to grow an audience when you're learning how to tattoo is just document the journey. Okay, talk about the types of tattoos that you're practicing, the things that you're learning along the way. Also talk about the fuck ups and the mistakes that you're making too, okay, because people are going to connect with that authenticity. People's bullshit detectors are so well calibrated these days. If you try and position yourself as like an expert tattooer and you're just figuring out the craft, people see straight through it. You'll get a lot more respect and you'll earn a lot more trust and credibility by just being real, by just being genuine. Just like, hey, look, I haven't figured this out yet. I'm documenting the process of me learning how to do this. You post your fake skins that you tattoo every single day. You talk about your learnings, your failures, the thoughts and feelings that come up along the way. And if you do that consistently for like, posting at least once a day for a few months, you'll build an audience very quickly. Cool. Yeah. Ethan says, yes, sober than you cool, I guess. Yeah. I'm way more productive when I'm sober, man. Way more productive. Yeah, I work in a drywall and painting, but I've stopped going to the gym. I need to get my winter build back. You inspired me to get back in the gym. Yeah, dude, it changes your life, man. It's so many positives. Jeff Pylon, I had the back of my hand done Wednesday and the same convo with my artist. Big paw print, name, dates for my late service dog. Yeah, dude. I had the back of my hand done. Whenever these comments like reference a part of like what I was talking about, there's like a delay. It's like I'm seeing this a couple of minutes after, so I'm not like fully sure what you were referring to. But anyway, I'm doing my best. Jason Solis. So there must be a point where you said to yourself, you're ready for real skin. How long after practicing was it for you? Bro, for me, I didn't have fake skins. When I started out, all we had was like these pound of flesh things. And I'm pretty sure they were more expensive back then. I got my first pound of flesh arm. And it was like $150. And, when you're working for free, $150 is a lot of money, dude. So I was tattooing that. And it's like, I was in like a really shitty situation too. Because like when I was ready to start actually tattooing people, I was in New South Wales, Australia, that they just brought in tattoo licenses. This was after there was that massive bikey brawl at the airport that happened years and years ago. For any of the Australians on here, you'll understand what I'm talking about, or you probably remember it. But if you're not, then probably not. So yeah, that's when they started bringing in tattoo licensing into Australia. And there was when they brought into New South Wales, the state that I was tattooing in, they had a grace period. Okay, it's like if you're already a tattoo artist and you apply for your license by this day, you can still tattoo until your license, like while your license is in transit, because it took like 6 months to get a license. Because when they first brought it in, everyone applied at once. There was a massive backlog, right? So yeah, and it was like $700 to apply. I didn't have the money. My mentor said that he would loan me the money. I think he forgot about it or whatever. That date passed for the grace period. So then my apprenticeship got extended by like another 6 months. I was literally ready to start tattooing, but I couldn't because those licensing laws kind of just came in. So, but yeah, it built character. I'm gonna say that. But yeah, so I could only tattoo like myself and like those pound of flesh like arms, and I was only tattooing like once a week. It took me a very, very long time to get to the point where I was consistently tattooing, just because I wasn't getting in enough reps. I was a very introverted and socially awkward person when I was like learning how to tattoo. When I was younger, in my early 20s, I was like socially fucked up. I couldn't talk to people properly. It didn't help that I literally locked myself inside of a room for a couple of years and just drew every day. That's all I did, was for years and years and years. I just drew, and my social skills just like went to shit. So naturally, I didn't have a whole lot of friends. And I was in a town that I didn't grow up in. So there was like this one guy, Lockie McFarlane, that, man, I was so grateful for that dude, that let me tattoo him. And he was just down to get free tattoos. He was broke just like I was. And yeah, so I just tattooed him again and again and again and again. And I was only like tattooing like once a week for so long. And then it started to pick up from there. So, man, it's probably like a good 2 or 3 years before I was consistently tattooing like human skin. But that's only because, again, the first year I think I was allowed to tattoo myself. I did one tattoo on myself in my first year. And then the second year I was allowed to tattoo one person, and he was unreliable. So yeah, my learning process was really, really slow just because of the situation, the environment I was in. I didn't have any of the resources that are available today. Otherwise I would have learned a lot quicker. Albivian, being a single father, I'm most worried about only being able to do tattoos on the side at first. I keep up with all my socials. How long could it take before I get a decent number of clientele? It depends. So Oblivion 320. So it depends, man. When you say keep up with all your socials, I'll just focus on one social platform. If you're like, you see Tattooing 101 doing a lot of social media stuff, like, bro, we got a team. Like, I'm not doing all that by myself. Neither is Brandon. We got people that are helping us with that. When you're just starting out, you don't have a team, bro. You're doing everything yourself. Just stick to one platform, and just stick to the platform where where you've got the most amount of relationships on. Like if you're like above 30 or potentially above 40 as well, typically Facebook, you'll have a lot more people on Facebook. If you're sort of younger, Instagram and TikTok are going to be more favorable for you because it's just a more optimized platform for people who are a bit younger. Start with people you already know. If you want to start tattooing, message everyone in your phone contacts and be like, hey guys, just giving you a heads up. I'm learning how to tattoo. If anyone's interested, let me do a couple of practice tattoos on them. Hit me up. Okay. It's much, much easier to start, getting clients from people that you already know because they already like, know, and trust you, as opposed to like just going out, doing social media marketing, getting new people coming in. But it depends how hard you go and how good your content is, man. If you do content well and you're consistent and you post every single day, then, you can get clients within a month, but if you're not good at content and you don't sort of do it super well, it's going to take much longer. Okay. So yeah, just making sure that you're kind of doing things correctly. You have like a basic kind of, plan on what you're going to do with social media. A lot of people copy trends and stuff like that. They do, like TikTok dances and anything to get views. Not all views on social media are created equal. Okay. I would much rather get 1,000 views from people that are like quality potential clients, as opposed to doing like a skit or a meme that's really, really funny and it gets like 1 million views, but then none of those people follow me or become a client, or they're just from like another country or whatever. Not all views are created equal. That's a big one. Comment here from Justin Smet. Word of mouth is a great thing for sure. Word of mouth is powerful, guys. It is the most powerful form of advertising that there is. But the problem is you can't control it. Okay, you can't literally force someone to go out and promote you. So you just have to know that if you're going to rely on word of mouth, It's a slow and steady way to grow as long as you're doing good work. When you master content creation, or even you take it a level further and you get good at running like social media ads, you can grow much faster. Another thing as well is once you learn how to do content and social media ads, you can travel as a tattoo artist. A lot of the guys that have word of mouth clientele, they're only successful in the town where they have that clientele. If they go somewhere else and they don't know how to promote themselves and market themselves, they have to start all over again, just like they did in the last place they lived at. So word of mouth is good. It's like, but I like to consider it as the cherry on top. When you got a solid, marketing strategy, then yeah, you're going to grow clients way faster. Jason Solis, been practicing for a year. Nothing but real skin. Done some tats on my leg. I want to do the other leg now. I'm not sure if I go something. Not sure if I should do something I like or something that will help. Bro, Jason, if you're going to be tattooing your legs, man, here's the reality, bro. I'm glad you said this, Jason. You are going to be ashamed of your tattoos in 5 years' time when you're like naturally a better artist. Assuming that you've stayed consistent, you've become better, and you've improved. And that's just a natural part of doing art. You're going to get better and better and better. So anything that you tattoo on yourself now, you're going to hate it in 5 years because you're going to improve so much. Okay. So if you are going to tattoo yourself, you're going to hate it no matter what it is, given enough, time. So I'll just practice on something that's going to give you, the most amount of, help you build the skill set you're trying to work on. Like, I don't like tribal, but the reason I did a tribal on my thigh is because this like rectangle, I like scribbled and I did like a bunch of random shit in that tribal tattoo. And then, once I figured out, the fundamentals and my technique was good, that's when I just blacked it out so that it looks neat. Like I don't have a bunch of scribble like all over my body. So yeah. Cool. Jason Smith, best fake skin series. I haven't tried the true skins. I've tried real skins before, but I don't like that they're a bit greasy. But I have not tried the true skins yet. Gomez, tattoo bars of soap, shoes, grandma's fake legs. Kind of weird, but is using a 4x6 to just pack color for practice. So Colin Chaney, kind of weird, but is using a 4x6 to just pack color for practice. Oh, so like a 4x6 sheet of fake skin. No, but there's nothing wrong with that. I find that like if you're just practicing like packing, like you're literally just getting a mag and you're filling a full sheet of fake skin, then it's going to get boring. You're not going to have a whole lot of fun with it, and you're not going to build a portfolio either. It's not really going to help you on the social media side of things. It's a lot more valuable to practice tattooing actual designs. Like do a couple drills in the beginning to kind of get a hang of the fundamentals. That's what we do with our students at Tattooing 101. We hook them up with drills in the beginning, and then we kind of graduate them onto like more complex designs that they can post on social media. Yeah, Justin Smith. Small designs to get your basic line and color packing. Couldn't agree more. The shadow. What about pigskin? I've tattooed pigskin before. It's gross. There's something about having like a dead carcass or dead piece of flesh just sitting in front of you that you're using to tattoo. I don't like it. Plus, it's also really tough. Okay, pigskin is like super thick and tough. And if you get used to tattooing pigskin, when you go and tattoo an actual person, you're going to be a little bit heavy-handed. You're going to be a butcher, bro. Just because you're used to tattooing stuff that's really, really tough. You're not used to like the delicate skin of humans. Just don't scribble and you won't hate it. Yeah. Or super cali, like if you are going to scribble on yourself, just do like an outline of a tribal and then like just fuck around in that and then black it out when you know what you're doing. How many days do you have to wait until you go back to the gym after getting a fresh tattoo? I give it 2 weeks. But again, the younger you are, the faster you're going to heal. So if someone's like 55 and they've got diabetes and they're just one Snickers bar away from losing their foot, I wouldn't say a week. I'd say like 2. I'd say like probably 3 or 4 weeks. Cool. So Ethan Levi had a good question. How do you know when you guys go live? Ethan, we haven't done a bunch of lives recently. But what we always do is we just schedule it on the channel. If you turn notifications on for our YouTube channel, then it should notify you whenever we schedule a live. But this one, I think we only scheduled it like a couple of days before, and I fucked it up because like an hour or two ago, I literally was testing it, and then I did the live, and I went on for 40 seconds, and I just like canned it, and then I had to start like a new live after that. But yeah, just turn notifications on. Blazon Cow-chan, is it weird that I've been practicing for 3 months and I'm actually better at realism than just normal straight lines? Look, a lot of tattoo, I mean, like we're not the only guys that teach people how to tattoo online, and a lot of courses will focus mainly on realism. Doing lines is like line work is the least forgiving technique, okay? Whereas shading with a mag, it is a lot more forgiving. But, you know, when you actually go to start tattooing actual people, doing like a large realism tattoo is very different to doing it like on fake skin. But yeah, it is kind of strange, like because a lot of the quote unquote money maker tattoos that you're going to be doing, like, you know, the walk-ins, the scripts, the symbols and stuff like that, that's all heavily like reliant on line work. If you just want to do black and gray realism, you know, I mean, you can, but it just means you're going to be limited. You know, if you don't learn how to do line work, and there are guys that tattoo realism that can't line for shit, they're out there, then yeah, you know, you can do that, but just, you know, keep in mind that you are kind of limiting yourself. There's a lot of things you're not going to be able to do. So you just want to make sure that if that's the route that you're going to go, man, make sure that your social media is fire and you're always booked up, because yeah, if you can only do one style, you want to make sure that you've built a brand around it, and there's a lot of demand. And also realism, funny, man. Like back in the day, like around 2013 or 14, when realism was still like, it was nowhere near as popular as it was today, and there weren't anywhere near as many people that were good at it as there were today. The prices that you could charge for realism like were astronomical, and it's starting to come down now because more and more people are just figuring out how to do it, and it's not as difficult as it looks. Especially black and gray. Color realism is still like on another planet. I don't do color realism like at all. It's just not my jam. I don't mind doing like some black and gray realism here and there, but yeah, color realism like is special. Like if you can do color realism, you're a G. But black and gray realism, it's nowhere near as difficult as what it looks, and you can learn to do it quite quickly. You know, assuming that you've got the art skills are there. So yeah, the price is coming down because like the supply and demand thing, I was getting all fucked up because just a lot of people are learning that style. But yeah, man, there are tattooers that just do realism and they're terrible line work, so it does exist. Tiffany Butner, hey, I've never made it to a live. Well, Tiffany, welcome to our first live. We here. Jason Solis, professionally speaking, do you think it's a good idea to pick a certain style or theme? I want to do anime themed tattoos only, even though everyone's not a fan. Yeah, so look, when it comes to picking a style or specializing, a neurosurgeon is always going to get paid more than a GP. Okay, so if you specialize in a style, you build a brand around it, it protects you. Like you're going to get way better at that style than someone that's like a generalist, does like a little bit of everything, and it's going to protect you from like, you know, having to lower your prices to compete with people. Okay, and with social media, a lot of people are doing a lot more research before they pick an artist nowadays. Like they know a lot more about them before they ever set foot through the door. And people go for like a specialist. If they want an anime tattoo, they're going to go to the anime tattoo guy and not the dude that does everything. Okay. But you've got to balance what you want to do with where the demand actually is. It is so much easier to sell people what they want than to sell what you want to sell, you know? So case in point, I used to do a lot of new school tattoos in a mining town in New South Wales, Australia. Guess what? Nobody fucking likes new school. So it didn't matter how good I got at it. Yeah, I didn't have a whole lot of clients in the beginning. And then once I started doing like a lot more black work type stuff, that's when, you know, I got a lot more clients. So if you're going to pick a style, just make sure, like, if you're in a city, like a big city, anime, you're going to do just fine. But if you're like in the middle of Alabama, in some town that no one's ever heard of, then it's going to be making anime style tattoos work. It's going to be a lot more challenging, just because it's just there's just not as big of a pool of a people to make a massive amount of income from just like one particular niche amount of style. If you know what I mean? Like if you go to New York or LA, you can specialize in the most niche thing ever, and there's enough people to make like a full-time living off that. But if you go to like a town of like 2,000 people, then you want to stick with okay, what are people already getting, and then tattoo that if you want to be if you want to do well. And make a good living. Jeff, okay, blazing. I can do mandala tattoos and things like that, but I do love doing black and gray and faces. Yeah, dude, black and gray portraits, man. There's a lot of demand for that. Mandalas are cool too. If you can do mandalas as well, you'll pick up line work really, really quickly, because like mandala tattoos, they're all technique. Justin Smet, I will say, been doing this since 2016. Had a 6-month apprenticeship with coils. First then learned with rotaries, now pens, and will say pens have a higher learning curve because they have less give. That's an interesting opinion, man. I used coils in the beginning of my apprenticeship. I strongly disliked them because they're so you have to, first of all, when you're using a coil machine, in my opinion, I believe that you've got to be an engineer as well as an artist. Like you're constantly tuning it and refining it. And you need a different type of coil machine to do every different type of work. Like there's coil machines for like doing fine line. There's coil machines for doing like bold lines, packing and like soft shading and stuff like that. There's so many different variations. You end up with like 5 or 6 different machines. But that's just my opinion. I've always used rotaries. So I think if you start on skin that's easy to tattoo, like the legs, that definitely helps as well. Shadow, how far can you get with whip shading only using straight black and no gray wash? Yeah, man, you can get pretty far with just using whip shading and no gray wash, especially if you're doing like trad style tattoos. You can do quite a lot with it. And also, if you just do that, you're very gentle, you can actually get some really soft gradients by like just very lightly putting in black. One thing my first mentor always used to tell me is that you should be able to get a black and gray tattoo to look good and decently smooth before you start to put in the washes. And I believe that's true. You can do a whole tattoo. It's harder, and you have to be very delicate and very gentle with putting in the blacks. It's a lot easier if you use gray washes, but yeah, you can get stuff pretty smooth with just straight black if you have the right technique. Oh man, I'm getting such a runny nose. Tiffany Butcher, I live in a rural town right now, practicing on fake skin and family. I finished college before I can apprentice, but the only tattoo shop that tried to open in my town failed within a year. All right, Tiffany, do not place the limitations of others upon yourself, okay? You have no idea why that tattoo shop failed, okay? A lot of the time, artists are terrible at business. It's just comes with the territory, because you spend all your time, working on your craft, working on your art, and you're tattooing. There's not a whole lot of time left for social media, and a lot of artists like kind of just avoid it altogether. So, I would dig into why. Like, were their tattoos bad? Was their social media shit? Was the guy just a bit of a dickhead that ran the studio and turned a lot of clients away? That's a big one too. Like, a lot of old school tattooers still think it's cool to treat their clients like shit and think that they can get away with it. Nah, bro. People don't stand for that these days. The people the market is educated enough now to know that they can just go to somebody else if they don't vibe with you. So I would put that more down to I would say that your area can't support a tattoo shop unless, if you live in a place that's like, like a town with like 100 people and everyone is like over 70. That's just like, okay, yeah, maybe that's not the best place to open up a tattoo shop. But yeah, I dig into why it failed. A lot of the time you'll find it's not because the market's bad or the area's bad. It's the person that was running the shop didn't know what they were doing, and that's why it went to shit. Blazing Cow. Oh, dude, I literally forgot. We're doing a giveaway. Yeah, so Blazing Cow Shop, dude, thanks for reminding me, man. So I love your videos and blown away by the reviews. All right, so guys, we're actually doing I totally forgot about this. We're doing a giveaway. Fuck, where is it? So the Masked Racer Pro that I just reviewed, actually, I think it's over here. I'll be right back. I literally can't find it, but we are giving away a Masked Racer Pro. So for everyone that commented on our video, I don't know if I can share my screen. Can I? Yeah, I can. All right, perfect. All right, so I'm going to share my screen, guys. We're going to be doing a giveaway of a Masked Racer Pro tattoo machine. So everyone that commented on that review video is going to be in the draw to win. So I'm just going to do that now. It's easy with the two monitors. Okay. All right. So I think, can you guys comment if you can see my screen? There should be a random number generator up and a Google Sheet with everyone that made those comments on our channel. Let me know if you can see that. I haven't completely fucked it up this time and put everyone's like name and email address on here, so that's a win. Okay, so we got 112 people that commented on the video. So I'm just going to set up this random number generator. It's just, you just type in random number generator to Google. It's all legit. I'll refresh it a couple of times so you guys can see. And I'll set this number to 112. All right. So can everyone see my screen? Did I accidentally show my ass cheeks on this live? I hope not. That'd be fucked. Anyway, no one can see my screen. That's cooked. That's not good. Okay. Oh, no, can you see my screen though? Like not me. I want to show you guys that I'm doing the giveaway. Okay, so you can't see my screen. Okay. No screen sharing. Let's figure this out. Sorry guys, just technical difficulties. Stay with me here. That's weird. It says that it should be sharing my screen. Oh, that's why. There we go. All right, guys, can you see my screen now? I think I figured it out. Give me a hell yes if you can see it before we give this bad boy away. Okay, yeah, cool. We can see it now. Perfect. All right, guys. So yeah, 112 comments. I just scraped them all in this Google Sheet. Let's hit this random number generator. I'll just refresh it so you guys can see it again. 112. So the winner of the Masked Racer Pro is 87. So let's go to 87. Do we have Sarah Faye 420? You know when people still have like their high school Gmail? And it's like super embarrassing. But anyway, Sarah Frey 420. If you're on this call, you've won the Masked Racer Pro machine. So if you can send us an email and just prove that you own like this YouTube channel, that would be dope. So then we can give the tattoo machine. Oh, cool! It actually has a photo of it too. So yeah, congrats, Sarah. You've won a tattoo machine. Cool. We'll follow up with you. Have we got? I'm not going to look at the details because that's invasion of privacy. Anyway, so yeah, Sarah Frey, we're going to be sending a tattoo machine your way. If you didn't win that giveaway though, guys, don't stress. I've got 2 more tattoo machines that I've got to give away on our next lives. So we've done a couple of tattoo machine reviews recently. I just did the Master Racer Pro. I also did the CNC Chronos and also the Easy P3 Touch Pro. So we're going to be giving those away on our next lives that we have coming up pretty soon. And if you're in the mastermind group for Tattoo 101, we literally do giveaways every single month. So you guys are probably numb to it at this point, but let's get back to the chat. I'll stay on for a little bit longer, guys. I do have to sleep at some point, but not like straight away. But oh no, I'll turn my camera off. Fuck, here we go. There we go. I've got to figure out how to rearrange my screens again. It's funny. I used to be really, really good with technology, and then as Tattooing 101 kind of grew, I got worse. Anyway, PRT Bones 78. No, you didn't win, bro. Sorry, man. PRT, I'll stay with cheaper machines while learning. If you want a mid-range machine from 2,400, but going, yeah, guys, when if you're starting out in tattooing and you're not sure like on what type of tattoo machine to get something cheap. Like literally just get something cheap and just figure out if this is something that you even want to do. You don't need to drop like $1,000 on the tattoo machine day one. Okay. Get, like a Master Racer or a CNC Chronos. You can get machines like that for like $100 to $200. They're not great and they're not going to last forever, but they'll last long enough to figure out whether, you feel tattooing is for you, because it's not for everyone. Sometimes like even with, our Artist Accelerator students, we'll get people to try out the course and then they'll send us an email. It's like, oh, bro, like, tattooing is just not for me. It's like, it is what it is, and just make sure it's like what you want to do before you like dive in head first and get the, the Primo critical torque or the Bishop liners or whatever. But you don't need it straight away. Jeff Plains, sweet ass, you guys were Gomez. I demand a redraw. Oh, Gomez. Is it? No, it's Gomez. Fuck, I've got bad eyesight, bro. I need to get new glasses. Dude, my nose is so fucking blocked. So PRT Bone, I have the Fold 3, but I want something good that. Yeah, cool. I'll just finish off some of the last of these questions, guys. Give me a sec to pull those up. Okay. All right. So coming up to the end of the FAQs, or the most frequently asked questions we've been getting recently. What app do I draw on? Man, that's oh, fuck. That's a terrible finale. So yeah, I draw on Procreate, guys. If you haven't got an iPad, or you want to set like a more cost-effective option than an iPad, there's an app called HiPaint and you can get that on tablets. It's pretty much like a direct clone of Procreate. It's almost like the exact same thing. I've heard, I think, I've heard like there's a couple of like hardcore like digital artists that like don't recommend Procreate because I think it's called Clip Studio or something like that. It's like a better version. It's like easier for drawing, but man, 95% of artists that draw digitally use Procreate. It's like it'll do everything you need for tattooing. Anyway, next one. So how to deal with lots of work versus slow times of the year, guys. This is why I don't recommend relying on word of mouth, right? Because you're giving up control of your business, right? You're at the mercy of the market, and the market hits hard, bro. The market is brutal. The market doesn't care that you got a couple of kids, you know. Yeah, it's got no chill. So, but when you do when you have a solid system when it comes to marketing and content creation, and we teach this inside of Tattooing 101 as well, guys. If you need help with, like, you know, social media and stuff like that when you're just starting out, because the approach is different. You can't copy what you know, all these big name tattooers are doing with their social media, because you're not in the same position as them. You can't position yourself as an expert on day one. You have to focus a lot more on documenting the journey. Okay, that's like the tried and true way to do it if you're just learning and you're still a beginner. But when you're social, when you get really, really good with content, you'll be busy all year round. You're not going to be at the mercy of slow season. And on top of that, if you learn ads as well, you can literally, when you figure out ads, you can literally turn on the tap, and then you can get as many clients as you want. Again, it is a skill set, and you know you got to know what you're doing. And ads are not going to work for everyone. And if you can't create good content, you're not going to be able to make ads work, because you'll just be burning money. So just be mindful of that. But yeah, in terms of when you're dealing with lots of work, make hay when the sun is shining. Take as many pieces as you can get. Save your money, guys. I know so many like you see so many tattooers with like gold chains and like nice watches and like leasing like supercars and stuff like that. It's like, bro, tattooing is seasonal, dude. I hope your social media is on point, because if your income goes down and you can't support that lifestyle, then, you know, shit's going to hit the fan. But yeah, that's like one thing that I'm super stoked. I never got into like having fancy shit. Like I never bought like, you know, cars or anything like that. I was always pretty good with money. The only thing that I really like to buy is like experiences, like travel and stuff like that. My whole reason that I wanted to get into tattooing from the beginning was freedom. I didn't want to be in the machine. Okay. The first time, this is the whole reason, like the biggest thing that pushed me into tattooing when I first started was when I got my first job at 16 years old at a place called Hungry Jack's. It's like the Australian version of Burger King, right? And dude, I saw guys that were like 35, 40 years old, still like putting fries in the bag. It's just like, dude, that's going to be me. And I just like, that's not the life that I wanted, or the life that I wanted to have. And it was just like, I just hated working a regular job. Like I had a manager that was just like screaming at me and being told what to do all the time. It's just like, man, I can't live like this. There's no way that I'm going to be able to function in society if I'm like a slave to the machine. So I was just like, dude, I need to make tattooing work so that I can be free. And that was always been my entire motivation behind wanting to, you know, get into like a creative field. Like I love the art, but I wanted the freedom that came with it. I didn't want to be told what to do. I didn't want to have to answer to a boss, and I wanted to be able to go wherever I want to go, whenever I want to go there. And yeah, tattooing has given me that. So super, super grateful, because like, yeah, that's what was like my first exposure to like the adult world. It's like when you're in high school, you're like in this bubble and you think that like, you know, everyone's going to be famous, or like, you know, everyone's going to be rich and stuff like that. And everyone's going to like, you know, going to have like these dope kick-ass lives. But it's like that song by The Offspring. The kids, what's that song? I think it's like the kids aren't all right or something like that. Where look up The Offspring. If you don't listen to those, that's a sick fucking band. And they literally make a song that kind of just talks about all of that, and people like lots of potential when they're young, and then, you know, they get into drugs, and then, you know, they give up on their dreams, and then, you know, reality hits and they're like sad. But yeah, that was kind of like my first exposure to that. It's just like, whoa, dude, like I can't handle that, man. I've got to be free. That's always been like my number one value in life is freedom, 100%. Going back to man, we've got lots and lots of questions. So we've got people talking to each other in the comments too. That's dope. So when I go to a shop, so this one's from Tiffany Butner. So when I go to a shop, I have to break down and get socials. look, you don't have to. Like you can get into a studio if you've got dope artwork, but it's just going to increase the opportunities that come your way. Because if you ask a tattoo shop owner, who would you rather hire? A good tattooer with no social media, or a good tattooer who's just exactly the same in terms of skill level, but they've got 20,000 followers, they're posting 3 times a day, really solid engagement on their social media, and they've got clients ready to go. Like any tattoo shop owner is going to pick that second person as long as they're not like terrible to be around and like their personality isn't just like absolutely cooked. Cool. I'm surprised. No, Ashish, aspiring story. Yeah, thanks, man. That's exactly why. Yeah, Nicholas, 100%, bro. Exactly why heading in this direction and working with art is the way more than anything else. Yeah, dude. Brandon was kind of the same too. Like I think Brandon talked about that a bit in one of our other podcasts, where it's like he just kind of wanted to be a pirate. He just wanted to have no responsibility and be able to go wherever he wanted to go, kind of the same as me. I feel it's allowed me to like never grow up fully too. Like I'm 32, and when I talk to like other 32-year-olds, they're like, you can tell they're 32, but I still feel like youthful because like I love, like I'm inspired to do what I do, and like what I do like is I found my purpose in life. Like I know what I'm meant to be here for, and because of that, like I'm energized every time I get up out of bed, except for today when I was like sick, but every other day, 100%. Blazing Couch on, awesome story, brother. Always been good at drawing, always wanted to do tattoos, always just thought it was way too much money to invest, but now I'm going for it. Dude, that comes up a lot too. Like, so good point by Blazing. He mentioned that it's like too much money to get into tattooing. We've got 23 people on this live stream right now. If anyone's gone to college or done like a university course or anything like that, drop the price tag that you paid to go to like university. Okay. I don't know what it's like in America, but from what I've heard, like it's pretty damn expensive. And man, a lot of people that do those degrees, like they're making just enough to survive, and they don't enjoy the work. And they're kind of trapped under like a pile of like student debt, and they don't like what they're doing. And it's like, it just feels hopeless, and to get into that situation is like, like 20, 40, 50, 60 grand. But to learn how to tattoo, like to get a really like kick-ass setup, you can get an amazing tattooing setup for 2 or 3 grand. To get some fake skins, you can spend a couple grand, like max, and then that'll be enough to get you through from like being a beginner to be able to tattoo actual people. So, for like, dude, under 10 grand, you can get into tattooing. As long as you're consistent, you put in the reps, you actually practice. So when you compare that to, going to, like I heard someone to be a nurse in like university, it's like 50 G's. I could be like way off, and it probably depends on the school where you go to, but like even like a normal job at university is like expensive as hell. So it's like, when you put it in perspective, you can make a really good living with tattooing, depending on how far that you want to take it. Some people want to go all the way and make multiple 6 figures a year and just absolutely work themselves to death. You can do that. That was never what I wanted to do. I always wanted to have like the freedom and the ability to just enjoy quality of life. So I definitely, I've made some sacrifices in terms of like, earning potential because of that, with tattooing. But, man, you can if you just want to be like a workhorse and grind it out. There's artists that tattoo in cities that are making like 200 grand a year, but they're working 7 days a week. Like they're really hustling hard for it. And then, or you can work 4 days a week. It's but it's something that you enjoy doing, and you can make a really good living from it. So, in my opinion, man, like it's a dope ass deal. Oh, Frank. For anyone, shout out to Frank Milazzo. He's one of our students at Tattooing 101. I actually know that guy super, super well. Dude, excited to be working with him, man. That's one thing I love about Tattooing 101 too. Like I know a lot of our students like very well because we do a lot of calls inside of our group. Like every week we do a live feedback call. I'll grab out my iPad and everyone will post their work. for feedback. I get through as many as I can. Like obviously, we have like a few thousand people in the group, so I can't do everyone, but we'll jam out like 40 or 50 tattoos in like in an hour period. Sometimes I'll stay like 90 minutes and we just go through as many tattoos as we can, and then we'll have like 20, sometimes 15, 20 minutes after that, we'll just like shoot the shit and hang out. We do art nights too. Sometimes we don't teach, sometimes we just literally hang out and draw together. It's a strong as fuck community, man. I'm so proud of what it's become. Okay, SLO. So although I'm going to go for it regardless of circumstances, what's your opinion on someone like me who is 31 years old now just starting to pursue tattooing? Okay, so if you're 31 years old and starting to learn how to tattoo, that's not like old. Okay, it's going to the longer you wait to get into tattooing, potentially the more adversity that you're going to face. Like obviously it kind of turns on its head. Like if you're 50 and you're retired and you've got a bunch of money, and then it's probably going to be even easier than if you're 20 years old. But it's going to be easier for someone that's 18 and still living at home with their parents than someone that's like 30 to get into tattooing. But man, you can absolutely do it. 31, is not old. You've still got like another 50 years in you, bro. It takes, to get, depending on how you learn, if you do it, even if you, worst case scenario, you do an apprenticeship and it takes you 2 years in a traditional offline apprenticeship, you're 33, bro. And you're a fully qualified professional tattoo artist. So, I don't think you should let age get in the way. It's so funny, like in life, so many people are like, oh, I'm too young. Like no one's going to take me seriously. Like I'm too young to go and do that or achieve that or, talk to that girl or whatever. And then it comes to a point where it's like all of a sudden you're too old. It's like you've been saying that you're too young for so long. It's like, oh, no one's going to take me seriously. No one, like I can't start a business. I don't have any experience. And then you just, for so many years, you say that you're too young, you're too young, you're too young. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, I'm too old, I'm too old, I'm too old. It's just like, oh man, bro, you're like, depending on lifestyle choices, you got another 50 years in you, bro. So have at it. But yeah, the longer you wait though, it's not going to get easier with time, at least not in the near future. So if you're 31, you want to get into tattooing, man, get busy, bro. Finger Flick the World. That YouTube name looks familiar. I've seen you on some of the other streams. Currently using my Inktober prompts to build a portfolio. First time I've ever drawn a snake and it turned out decent. Yeah, dude, props, man. We're doing Inktober now with Tattooing 101. If you just sign up to our emails, it's free. We're sending out like prompts for Inktober. Like every day of the month, so it doesn't cost anything, so you just jump on it. Justin Smet, I don't go to college. I'm 37, trying to survive as a diesel mechanic. Love tattooing, but can't do an apprenticeship when taking care of the bills. Learning how to tattoo is where I'm at and showing. Yeah, dude, that's the beauty about learning online. Like you said, if you're a diesel mechanic and you got bills and stuff to pay, bro, like that's super normal. Like I don't know of many people in their mid to late 30s that don't have a whole bunch of responsibilities, whether that's like family, bills, whatever. For people in your situation, man, like an apprenticeship isn't always like realistic. When you learn online, even if you only got like, maybe an hour here, an hour there, you can make progress. Okay. It might extend the learning curve out a bit if you can't do it like, 8 hours a day, but you can still make progress and work towards the goal. Whereas, as opposed to if the apprenticeship was the only way to get into it, then, it'd just be a roadblock. You wouldn't be able to get past it. So PRT Bone 78. So ACUS C2 isn't a great beginner buy. The ACUS, is that from Element Tattoo Supply? Because I haven't used an ACUS before, but the name sounds super, super familiar. I've only used like a few different machines. Like I've used my main daily drivers. Like I use Critical Talks and Bishop. Bishop Wands. I'm going to get an FK Irons machine in just a bit. They're bringing out a new machine really, really soon. They haven't even told us what it is, but they offered to let us use one. So that's going to be really, really cool. But I forgot what I was talking about. Yeah, ACUS is a good beginner machine. Man, for a beginner machine, I would, if you're not sure that tattooing is something that you want to do, or if you're really tight on a budget, get like a masked racer, man. Like they're really, really good. They're super light, they're super small, and they run really well. Jeff Pylan, 48 this year, disabled with fibromyalgia, chronic fatigue. I should have done this years ago, but now it's for me an expression. Yeah, dude. They say that the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago, and the second best time is today. There's fuck, man. If I could go back in time, I would have put everything I had in a Bitcoin. But you know, hey, time makes fools of us all, man. All you can kind of control is what you do with your time now. So, man, good on you for picking up the machine. Yeah, Justin Smith, remember also people pay attention to your local laws and learn bloodborne pathogens. Guys, hygiene is the least sexy part of tattooing, but it's so important. If you give someone Hep C or AIDS, your career is like done. You know, you'll never be able to get insured again. You know, you'll probably get sued. It's like, I mean, if you've got insurance and stuff like that, they may cover it, they may not. I've never done that with anyone, so I don't know how that would work. But yeah, dude, and not to mention your reputation would just go to shit. Like word would get around. Yeah, so important, guys. Hygiene is important as fuck. And you look at a lot of beginners, they just don't take it seriously. You have to. How you do anything is how you do everything. Even when you're tattooing fake skins, wrap your machine up. Get in the habit of doing stuff legit and clean. Jason Solis, in the Tattooing 101, do you actually do lives of the tattoos where people can follow along or potentially do video calls and watch how people tattoo and give feedback? So Jason, when it comes to doing live tattoos, we've done live tattoos in the past. Logistically, it's a bit challenging, just because you've got to, you know, the time zones. Like I'm on the other side of the world. We have done a few in the past, and sometimes the signal isn't super great. Like it's not as good as what it sounds when you're doing live tattoos. The quality is much better when we just record it. You guys can see it, and we literally just break down everything that we're doing. With some students that we work with directly, we don't do this for everyone, but we do this with a select few group of students that we mentor, where they'll send us footage of their tattoos and their drawings and stuff. We will actually watch them tattoo, and we'll give them critiques and breakdowns on their art. But we don't do that for every single student inside of the Artist Accelerator. That's only like a very small group that we privately mentor as well. Blazing Catchan, bro, Tattooing 101 is where it's at. Appreciate the support, guys. Tiffany Bunter, if you do the Tattooing 101 class, can you get licensed off that instead of an apprenticeship? Great question. So Tiffany, can you get licensed from using Tattooing 101's course? So we're actually working on this. We've had our course approved as an alternative training pathway in Ohio, and I think New York, and also Massachusetts potentially. I can't remember the state offhand, but it's like 3 states or three counties within 3 states. Every county sometimes has different laws to the state. So yeah, it can be a bit challenging, but it is something that we're working on. We've got a few to say yes, but there are a lot of states in America where they're super strict. For example, Oregon. If you live in Oregon, like, man, you have to go to tattoo school in order to get a license. Like there's no way around it. Even if you get an apprenticeship inside of a studio, you still have to go to a tattoo school in Oregon to get your tattooing license. Virginia is really strict as well. But what I have seen in the past as well is that we've had students that have literally asked their local county if they can use the course to get their license. And a lot of the time, if the county has different laws towards the state, we can propose that to them. And if we are able to get to the decision maker, there is a potential that they could pass that through. We don't have the resources to individually contact every single county within America. We tried. We hired a bunch of freelancers and stuff like that to help us reach out to all the health departments and all the counties. There's like tens of thousands of them. And yeah, it ended up not going super well at all. Like it was hard to get them on the phone. The freelancers would, just kind of give up after a while. Yeah, it's if you want to use Tattooing 101 to get licensed in your county, go to the local health department and ask. And if they want more information, I'm more than happy for you to like connect us or give them or send like an email and like CC both of us, and we can kind of take over the conversation from there and tell them like all about the program, the hygiene standards that we have within the program and stuff like that. We're more than happy to contribute in that conversation for sure. Frank Milazzo, been in manufacturing, program's been a game changer. Frank, you got to crush it, dude. You're going to crush it. You've been working with us for a while, bro. I'm really excited to see you get out of that that factory. And that guy, man, the dude that owns that factory is going to be fucked when you leave, man. You manage like 50 people. Let's keep going. Justin Smith, there's only a few companies that ship to people's houses in the USA. You sure? You sure about that, bro? Look, back in the day, you know, this is a big thing in Australia too. No tattoo supply company would mail to anyone that wasn't in an actual studio. And then what happened? Other tattoo supply companies started popping up that would sell to people that weren't in a tattoo studio, and they just started making a ton of money. So you'll find that the outlook on, you know, sending supplies to people that, you know, potentially don't work in your studio it's very different to what it used to be. It's not that difficult to get tattoo supplies. I'll put it that way. Just going through the comments. Gabriel, for Tattooing 101, do you buy the courses? Do you buy the courses in segments, or can you buy a monthly subscription for the courses? So we don't actually have a monthly subscription, man. We just have the courses for like their pay in full price or a payment plan. The payment plans go for like 12 months. Once you've paid it off, like it's yours for life, and you get all the updates and stuff as well. So we don't have a monthly subscription. That's one of the reasons as well why we're starting to look at fake skins, just to kind of give us like more revenue so that we can invest in the courses and get other artists to do like, you know, guest seminars and stuff from all around the world and start to grow the brand even more, which would be absolutely sick. Man, I really got to go. Nice chatting. Yeah, nice seeing you, bro. Gabriel, yeah, you can do monthly payments at $60 a month for 12 months. Justin Smith, also, yeah. Man, you guys are super educated on all the courses that we offer. Hi, Nathan. Are there any planned for courses focused on cover-ups? Kazoo, no, not currently, but that's something that we absolutely can do. I haven't spoken about this publicly just yet, but we have brought on a couple more artists onto the brand. So you're going to be seeing, not straight away, but in the future, you're going to be seeing artists other than myself, Brandon, and Jay on the channel. It's a little bit of a while off. We're still kind of vetting people and making sure that, you know, it's a good fit and stuff like that. But it's going to be really, really cool. We're getting these other artists in that specialize in completely different styles to what we do. And, you know, they can also, you know, really contribute to the brand. So we're looking forward to that. It's going to, I think, just kind of take things to the next level when you guys have even more mentors to kind of work with and see how other styles are done. But guys, I'm sick as a dog. I'm gonna go to bed. It's 10:49 p.m. so I'm like cooked. But yeah, guys, thanks heaps for coming on. We love and appreciate you all. Tattooing 101 has grown so much like over the last few years, and we absolutely would be nothing without you guys. So appreciate you guys for trusting us as your mentors, and we're not going anywhere. We absolutely love what we do. We're going to be doing this for a very long ass time. And there's so much things we've got in the pipeline. Like we're going to be starting to do offline training programs in the near future. So we're going to be going offline, which is really, really exciting. We're going to be getting other artists to come in and do guest seminars. There's so much stuff in the works, guys, that it's all possible because of you. So huge, much love to you guys, because you guys are the brand. You're what makes Tattooing 101 what it is. So that's pretty much it. Cool. All the best, guys. Talk soon. How do I stop the stream? There we go.